That was a bit of all right, wasn't it? Just when you thought this time of year couldn't get any more exciting for video games, Sony break out a state of play the night before the Switch 2 comes out. So I just want to go over all the titles that were covered and just sort of share my thoughts on it and just kind of give a rundown on what I think about it and how excited I was for it. So first up, we had a game called Lumines Arise or Luminize Arise. I can't pronounce these names. I'd never played the first in the series, and these are the guys behind Tetris Effect. It's not something that I'm super excited for, but it did look like a very pretty fun game, and one of my friends was very excited for this game, but yeah, it's not something for me. It's coming out for PS5 and PSVR 2, and it's coming out in fall of this year. And next up, we saw more from Capcom's Pragmata gameplay, which was very weird, but very interesting. The art style's very cool. The little girl is extremely creepy and unnerving, but it definitely does look like something that I'm going to want to pick up and try, because I'm not sure what it was about the combat, but it really looked like it was going to be fun. And the sort of space aesthetic and sci-fi future look for it was really, really, really interesting. Definitely glad we saw a lot of gameplay with this, and overall, it kind of increased my hype for it. Next up, we had a game which described itself as ultra-violent science fiction, and that is Romeo is a Dead Man. My first note on this was my eyes are hurting because the very first cutscene is a very weird one, and me and my friends who were watching it couldn't decipher what was going on, but then when the gameplay kicked in, it looked so good. It gave us big Dead Rising vibes, which is never a bad thing. It looks like it's off the wall, over the top, just crazy fun. Definitely something I am looking forward to putting some time into and hopefully picking up in the future when it comes out. And then we had another Silent Hill game get announced, and all of my notes for this just said the words nope, 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 nope. Scary Schoolgirls again, nope. It looks horrifying. It looks so weird, so scary. It is something that I will be staying so far away from. I love horror films, okay? I absolutely adore horror films. They're my favorite genre. I'll watch them before I go to bed. I'll watch them first thing in the morning, not a problem. I will not play a horror game without crying and screaming. It is so scary for me. Those games always went through me. This game looks like it's going to be even worse for me. But if you love horror games and you love the Silent Hill franchise, I think you're going to be in for a treat with this one. We'll have to see more when it gets close to the release date. Yeah, that's going to be one I'll be skipping on. And then we had the next entry into the Bloodstained franchise get announced with the Scarlet Engagement. For those of you that played the first installment in the franchise, it was such a good and fun, engaging game made by creators who'd been behind Castlevania originally. It was a Kickstarter project, then it went on to be like a full release game. Really, really fun. If you love Metroidvania style gameplay, it's going to be perfect for you. I really do encourage you to pick up the first one. I'm not sure how the story ties in. It looks like it's carried on, but in a different aspect of the world. Kind of like the Castlevania games never really sort of always linked together. There was definitely games that did link together, and there's also ones that were sort of offshoots, but not sure how this is all going to play in yet. The art style, the gameplay, it's all solid, it's all fun. The first one I have no complaints over. This one I'm really excited to pick up as well. Again, another solid release with a ton of gameplay shown as well. And then we had Digimon Story Time Stranger. And that's about as much as I can tell you about it. It doesn't look like something I'm going to be jumping into. Digimon was always a series which I was never massive on. I mean, the theme song was incredible, do not get me wrong. It hands down slaps as one of the best TV themes when I was growing up. Game-wise, I kind of feel like it always kind of failed in comparison to like Pokemon games. So I'm not 100% on what this game is going to play like. It's not something that I'm super stoked for. But for all you Digimon fans out there, it looks like you're going to be eaten. And again, if I get this name wrong, I'm really sorry, but it's Far Fantasy Tactics: The Evilest Chronicles. I've never been a fan of tactical RPGs or strategy RPGs, so this is something I'm going to be passing on. If you were a fan of the 1997 original, good news, you can still play the classic original game, faithful as they can make it, but also they've revamped it as well. So there's two modes you can pick from. You're going to have one which is going to be classic and one which is going to be a little bit more zhuzhed up, whatever zhuzhed means. Some graphical enhancements, some gameplay tweaks, so it's going to be nice to appeal to both sort of sides of the spectrum with that. It's going to be something I'm going to be missing and passing on, but strategy RPG fans, this is a classic one for you. And we had a really weird game getting announced called Baby Steps, and it's just not something that looks like it's going to be enjoyable for me. It looks like QWOP, if you remember what QWOP is. It also just looks like it's got toilet humor, quite literally toilet humor in it. It doesn't look like it's going to be something which I'm going to be excited to pick up. If I can find a copy, then great, but I'm not going to be going out of my way to pick up a copy of Baby Steps. And then Bandai Namco hit us up with Hirogami, which looks like a really interesting and fun game. It's like a origami based like adventure game, which art style alone was incredible. Like it was a stop motion almost style of like graphics as well, which again is something that I'm a massive fan of. If you've played South of Midnight, you kind of get what I mean in that respect. But yeah, the gameplay was really fun, looked really interesting, something that I'd like to see more of. The platforming looked really good. The way that the character sort of changed into different shapes as well looked really, really interesting. So yeah, sign me up for that one. And then we had the next entry in Everybody's Golf get announced with Everybody's Golf Hot Shots. It's more of the same. Looks like I'm not huge in that franchise. I just remember playing it and it being quite fun. So hey, you know, look, if they continue on with the formula that's working, then more power to them. And then the team behind the Blasphemous games came out and gave us Ninja Gaiden Rageborn, which looks incredible. Side-scrolling, beat-em-up action, platforming, just looks so good. Looks like a throwback to the classic Ninja Gaiden games, just with a way more modern aesthetic. And if you played Blasphemous, you understand how tight the combat was in that game. Such a good game, such a good team behind it. I'm excited for this one. It's one I'm looking forward to. And again, tons of gameplay shown. That's going to be the theme throughout this entire sort of presentation, was that there was loads of gameplay on show. And then we had one of the first looks at a game called Kane, which was a simulation climbing game, which looks very relaxing, but once again, kind of reminded me of Quap in the way that all the limbs sort of work independently. If you don't know what Quap is as well, just Google it. It was an old Flash game from back in the days. Showing my age there by mentioning Flash. But I played the demo of it last night after the presentation, and it's definitely interesting, but I don't think it's one that I'm going to want to keep on playing because it did frustrate me quite a bit. But I might sink some more time into it and see how we get on. But there's a demo out for it now, so I would check it out. If it looks like it's up your street, or if you're a boulderer or you enjoy climbing yourself, then it might be worth checking out. And then we had the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection get announced, which has got games from the first up to number 4, with all like the handheld and arcade and home console versions thrown in. If you're an MK fan, this is going to be an amazing pickup. It's going to be a massive nostalgia wave for you as well. I'm excited for it. I used to love playing the MK games when I was younger, and I used to love playing them growing up. I was a massive part of the fighting game community as well. I say massive, I was involved in it. Like I used to run tournaments and stuff like that as well in South Wales. So yeah, it was great. Really good fun to see that game come back, especially with all of the classic stuff on there. I'm going to be picking that up and looking into it. And then we also got a fight stick announcement as well, which is incredible. It looks so sleek. It is a wireless one, which I'm not a massive fan of, but I did read that it has also got like a USB-C connection that you can use as well for wired play, which if you know anything about fighting games, you want as little latency as possible. So I'm going to look into it. Hopefully it's not too expensive, and maybe pick that up as well. We then had another look at Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta, which is the Snake Eater remaster, remake, however you want to look at it, which they keep on showing it and it looks really good. It's getting closer and closer to that release date as well. I'm super excited for it. I actually played this game, I think it was first out of the Metal Gear series because it was chronologically the first one. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to jump in, and that kind of was a bit weird. If you're an MGS fan, it's going to be a great game. If you haven't played MGS before, I fully recommend getting involved in that franchise. But this game, really good fun. It looks so good to see it brought up to the modern era as well. And then we get Neo 3. I've never played any of the Neo games, but there's a demo for this one out and I've downloaded it. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, so I am looking forward to it. They have said in this one that they've kept the normal like samurai sort of style of gameplay, but added in like a ninja one as well, which when you switch between them, it did look like there's a big stark contrast between them. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes from this. Aesthetically, it looks really good. I'm going to check the demo out later. Well, I say later, maybe tomorrow or the day after, depends, you know, kind of a big day today. So yeah, I'll share my thoughts on that and we'll see. But if you're a Neo fan, hey, you've got another game to play. And then we got to look at the Thief VR game, which aesthetically looks like it fits right in with that franchise. VR games like this are kind of always a little bit hit and miss for me. I've got a PSVR 2, which is just gathering dust, so it would be nice to have an excuse to dust it off and play some stuff. It looks like it does keep to that classic Thief franchise style, which if you've played any of the games before, which if you're an old head like me, you probably have dabbled in them. It looks like it's going to carry that on. It looks like it's going to be fun, but how it's going to play in VR, it's not certain yet. We won't have to wait too long to check it out, hopefully. And then there was a weird game that got announced, which I've never heard of or never seen before. And I didn't quite understand what was happening with it. It was called Tides of Tomorrow. And the only real note that I had on this was it's Waterworld on steroids. What it's going to be like, we'll have to wait and see. But it does look like the art style is really cool. I'm a big fan of the look of it. Gameplay wise, I'm not 100% on what we're going to be doing. Yeah, a little bit confused. And then last year's Game of the Year just keeps getting better. Team Asobi showed up, and aside from saying thank you to everyone, they just dropped 5 more levels on us that's going to be coming out soon. So great, can't say anything but thank you, Team Asobi. And then we had a game called Sea Remnants get announced, which has got like a wooden art style to it, which is a good thing in this case. It's a pirate game, giant crabs, not 100% on if it's a roguelike or not, but I'm in. It looks really good, looks really fun. Looks like a really interesting game as well. Not 100% on if it's a Sea of Thieves like esque game. Black Flag maybe maybe, who knows. Just looking at it alone from the gameplay that they showed, it did look like it was going to be a really interesting game. If there's a demo that comes out for it, I'll pick that up. If not, it's going to get wishlisted because I just love the art style for it. And it's something that I'm kind of appreciating more as I get older, is the art style in some of these games now is straying away from this hyper-realism to this more sort of adventurous style, and I'm a big fan of the one they've got here. So my mistake, as I was putting this together, I realized I actually missed out one of the games, and this is called Sword of the Sea, and it's by the team behind Abzu and Pathless and Journey, but it looks like a really, really pretty game. Graphically, it looks really relaxing and calm, but these games are really renowned for having solid gameplay that kind of think outside the box a little bit. Aesthetically, it looks brilliant, like all their games do. If you haven't played anything by them, I really recommend that you do go and check it out. But yeah, this game, it's got my attention, and it looks really, really calming, really, really fun. And I'm sure it's going to be quite tricky in spots as well, so sign me up. They made a bunch of games get announced for the games catalog, PlayStation Plus. I'm just going to put them up on the screen. I'm not going to talk about them because I can't really remember off the top of my head what we had, but I know we had Deus Ex, we had Twisted Metal 3 and 4, we had a few other games get thrown in, and we also had Resident Evil 2 and 3, the originals, get chucked in as well in the future. So yeah, that's pretty cool. It's really nice to see that they're still adding games to that catalog and bolstering it. I just wish they put some more PS2 games in there, please. And then we had our first look at the new IO Interactive game for James Bond, with 007 First Light. Bit of a weird take on it because it's set before he's kind of James Bond as we know him. So it's like before he's 007, which is pretty cool. It's really nice to see it. It was strange seeing someone play as a young James Bond, seeing someone not look like one of the actors as well. So I'm not sure how that's going to play out because kind of all of us sort of relate James Bond to a visual of it, whether it be Pierce Brosnan, whether it be Daniel Craig, Roger Moore. Like there's loads of them that we've sort of associated with over the years, but it could be fun. These are the guys behind all the Hitman games, and they've always been good fun and always been a really interesting way. So if this is going to be James Bond meets Hitman, I'm not going to complain. We are getting a gameplay trailer later on as well, so I think it's coming in July, they said, so we'll have to wait and see how this actually plays out, but colour me intrigued. And then Ghost of Yote showed up to tell us there's going to be a trailer in July, which was disappointing, I won't lie. I wanted to see more of it, but yeah, it was still good. Like, it's still nice to see it, and the big wolf was there too, and if you put a big dog on screen, I'm going to be happy. And then you had Marvel Token Fighting Souls get announced, and this is the game that I cannot wait for. I am so excited, like beyond excited for it. It's a Marvel fighting game. It's a 4v4 where you can either tag in or just use them as supports. The art style is incredible. Arc System behind it, so Arc System, if you've known them, they've done games like Blaze Blue, Guilty Gear, the new Dragon Ball fighting games. Like, they are such a good fighting game studio. This is going to be so much fun. I am beyond excited for it. If anything, this was like the highlight for me. If you can't tell just from the way that I'm talking about it now, I'm going to do a whole video just on this one as well, because for me, this is a fighting game which means so much to me. I grew up playing the Marvel fighting games. I own like physical copies of pretty much all of the Marvel fighting games throughout the years. They mean so much to me. Those games are so much fun, and to see it come back this time with a different art style to it, the fact that ArcSys were told by Marvel to put their own spin on these characters is such a bold statement. It shows how much faith that Marvel have in that studio to make a good game. It's going to be incredible. It looks so good, so much fun. And with that, with the arcade stick and the fact that it's, you know, coming to PS5 and PC, there was no mention of other consoles there, so hopefully it's going to run so well on those PS5 consoles and super smooth on the PC that we get a really good fighting game experience. But yeah, I'm going to do another video in the future on that, and I can't wait to share more thoughts on that with you. But yeah, overall, that was the state of play. I'm super excited for some of the stuff that got announced, and I would say that that was a really respectful state of play. It didn't try to take away from the excitement of the Switch 2 coming out, but it also did build up hype for a lot of other games. Overall, a really good one in my opinion. I'd give it a B+. But yeah, keep your eye out in the future for my Marvel video, because I'm really excited to share some more on it. Get your curly mustache. Curly mustache!